Okay, everybody, it's 10:30 here, so let's double check that. Click that one more time. 3. And all right, so now we should have a different screen up, if I'm correct. And it should be my Sketchfab page. So let's see if this thing is working. So hey there, Corey, and everybody else who's joining on channel. This is kind of a really quick last minute thing. I wanted to do some testing with OBS today, so I did a little intro bumper for doing the live stream. So I hope you were able to see that, and I hope now that you're able to see me on screen. So if everything is working the way it's supposed to be, I'm checking my iPad mini over here, and there I am full on screen. So first big question, Corey, are you getting the audio feed from me right now? And I'll wait to see that in the chat, but if you could verify. So just doing a little bit of testing today. I was also messing around with one of my models earlier this morning, and I decided, hey, I wanted to get on and talk about something that I've been hearing from some of the subscribers here, from some of the folks on my Teachable, and from some of the folks over on Udemy. And let me just double check this. So I'll apologize here. We're just pulling up OBS really quick. All right, so from the looks of OBS, everything should be good. The audio should be there, and I should be on screen. So I've set up a couple of hotkey changes where we can bounce between these things. Tom, thanks. It's working fine. Great. So now we can actually do the full screen here, and let's switch over to the second screen here and see if that pulls up as well. So hopefully I'm going to get used to switching between things here. Okay, Michael, loud and clear, excellent. So at the moment you should be seeing a little picture in a picture. Let me just double check down here. All right, so I should be down in the lower right hand corner for the moment. So yeah, just playing around with OBS, doing a little live stream testing, and you are my beta testers. So welcome to the channel, everybody. For folks who are new to the channel, my name is Rich. I'm the channel host, and we're usually talking about drones, professional imaging, all of the equipment that goes on with that, all those types of things. And I'm looking down at my iPad mini right now, making sure that this is working fine. So awesome, thanks. Sounds good here, it looks good. All right, so one of the things that I'm going to start doing on the live streams is we're going to be putting down timer for a countdown to let people know when the stream's going to happen. So we're just changing some of those things up. We'll have a little more fun with the bumpers, and I just have to remind myself of which keys take me to where. So right now we should have me, like I said, lower right hand corner, and you should be seeing the screen. So before we jump into hi Rich, Joe here. Hey Joe, good to see you. So like I said, this is an impromptu video. I wanted to do some OBS testing, but I also wanted to talk to you guys about drone purchases because I've been getting a lot of feedback from folks lately. Subscribers here, folks on the Teachable, folks on Udemy, and direct emails. It's the same theme, so I want to talk about that in a few. But first, just wanted to show you, been playing around. So this is not WebODM. This was actually an export from Metashape for this particular 3D model, but we use this for testing with WebODM as well. So in total, over 6,000 square feet. And this was a very, very simple, quick, fast model. So I did a grid with Map Pilot Pro, and then I did an orbit with Litchi. So we really got some great, great visibility on this house. Even coming in to look at the facades, this is pretty amazing. So very satisfied with the output. And while I've been doing all the WebODM experimentation, I have run this model several times. It's close, but between Metashape and WebODM, Metashape's the winner on this particular 360. Of course, I'm still testing and learning with WebODM as well. But I thought I'd share this one with you before I jump over to what's been bothering me the past couple of days as I've been getting inquiries. And I don't mind inquiries, comments, questions, always welcome. You can pop over to azdrone.net, and I've got a contact form there. If you don't already have my email address, feel free to get in touch anytime. So I do not mind messages from folks who are on channel who are looking to learn. Always happy to help you out. Now, I've been getting from let me see, from the Teachable account, that's where a lot of the questions have been coming up. We've had a lot of new people signing up for drone construction progression and the Litchi Waypoints. And a question that keeps coming up is, I own blank drone. Is this going to work for me? And it's been becoming more and more frustrating as we're waiting on the SDKs, for the Mavic 3 and other drones. What can I fly with what app? And it's becoming problematic for folks. Making a decision, a drone purchase decision, maybe you want the latest Air, maybe you want the latest Mini, and you want to use it for, different applications in your business or in your recreational flying. You go ahead, you run out, you buy that new drone, and then you find out that it doesn't work with your favorite apps right now. So I've been getting a lot of those questions recently from folks. I've got the Air 2S, I've got this Mini, I've got that Mavic. And as you start looking around, so we're on the support page for Maps Made Easy. And so the guys from Drones Made Easy. And they have their list. So the biggest suggestion I can give to you is that you do your research before making that purchase. Let me see. What was the original gimbal used for Litchi? Joe, I actually don't remember the angle I had that at. I was flying it at 52 feet above ground level. This I do remember from it. And I did have a bit of a down tilt on that. I had it do a very simple orbit around it, and I spaced the images out multiple seconds apart. So I didn't collect, like 70 or 80 additional things in that orbit. What I had done is I got the drone where I wanted it. I got the gimbal tilt exactly where I wanted it. And then I went ahead and made a quick orbit mission with Litchi, because you can make orbit missions super fast with Litchi. So that's what I did with that angle. I can look back at it after, Joe, and find out what I did, because I think I saved that one when we finish it. But that particular project that we were working on, they didn't really need a 3D model. I wanted to gather some more stuff while we were out doing some video for them, and I wanted to use that 3D model for some of our instructional stuff here on YouTube and on the Patreon channel and everything. So anyways, looking here at the at Maps Made Easy, and we're going to look at everybody. Well, not everybody, but enough. So Autel Evo 2 is supported, the Mavic Pro, Mavic Air, Mavic 2 Pro, but not the smart controller. And this came up for one of the folks who contacted me earlier this week. They've got the smart controller, and they would really, really like to use Ground Station Pro. And, no. So with the smart controller, it's a different OS on that smart controller, and you're not going to then plug your iPad into the smart controller. You're going to need the regular controller. So there's all these nuances with what's acceptable and what's not now. So right here, the Mavic Air 2 does not support Waypoints. So it's, this is their notification as of, let's see here, November 17th, 2021. So you need to go check and, check the updates on what they do and do not offer. So it's not just the drone, sometimes it's also, a controller issue. But so you see here, Map Pilot Pro does support a lot, but some of the newest drones, they're not supported. So very, very disappointing. And then I'm going to pop over. So Ground Station Pro, a DJI product that has not been updated in quite a while. I've been using it for quite some time myself. I haven't seen an update in a while. But as we go through for Ground Station Pro, once again, we're scrolling. So there's the Mavic 2. The Mavic 1 was somewhere in there. And then we've got, of course, the Phantoms. But you'll notice that some of the small ones that have come out recently, our minis and things, they're not showing up in here. So like I said, as I'm hearing from other students and subscribers, there are applications they want to use. And the big thing is we see more and more different drones from DJI and other manufacturers as well. We have to find out about the support first. So if you're still in the middle of making your buying decisions, you need to go to the app developers that you want to work with and make sure that that you're getting the right drone for their application. So, looking at Litchi. So Litchi's a big one, and hey, we just talked about it a minute ago. What was that orbit? And so that that's one of my tools, and it works on my Mavic. It works on my Mavic 2 Pros, and so I know that one's good. But then we'll look in here, the Mini 2, the Mini SE, the Air 2S, and that's Android only. They have a C below on that. The Mavic Mini 1, the Mavic Air 2, that's the one that I got a question on recently, the Mavic 2, and the Mavic Air, Phantom 4. So we've got our list here. And so you'll notice that in the case of Litchi, they're giving us an additional heads up. Litchi for iOS, not compatible with the Mini 2, Mini SE, or Air 2S. DJI did not release an update. So what they're looking for here, they're suggesting, Litchi's saying, we're looking at March 2022 for the SDK. So not even the finalized product, because remember, these developers, this does take time to develop these things. So if they get the SDK at the end of March, they're going to be working on this for a little bit before we see anything. So popped over to Drone Harmony to get their software list as well. They've got a PDF download for it. So they've got theirs listed as to, what's working with them, what's not working with them. The Mavic series, we see some check boxes in here. Mavic 2 Enterprise is a no. Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual is a no. So just looking through each of these, and also the mobile devices. Now, I mentioned recently, for folks who are interested, and if you're interested in Drone Harmony, they have their Android application, of course, and they are coming out with an iOS version. So they're still working that up, but it's actually available on the App Store for Mac right now. All right, supported aircraft again. So one of the other ones that folks have been asking me, hey, Rich, have you been checking out Measured Ground Control? And Measured Ground Control is another flight planning tool if you haven't looked into it yet. And I'm going to be doing some more investigation and test usage of it as well. But so they also have their list of supported drones. So we see the Inspire 2. We've got the Mavic Air 1, we've got the Mavic Air 2, and there is a little letter M here. What does the M mean? Well, if we scroll down here, we're scrolling. Okay, the M means manual flight only. Other limitations, certain functionality in the mobile app like grid flights, additional camera settings may not be fully supported. So that's the Mavic Air 2, and that's one of the ones that I had a question on recently. All right, the Mavic Air 2S, we have an A and an M. So M, we already know manual. What's that A stand for? I'm going to make you guys seasick scrolling, right? This drone is supported in the Android Smart Controller version only. Okay, so that one is going to work with the Smart Controller, so there's that A for you. So if you have the standard controller and another device hooked up to it, not happening for you yet. But so you can go through these yourselves. I'm not going to go through every one of these because that'd be really boring. But the bottom line, as drones are getting more out there in the market spaces, in our case doing the construction progression stuff and the raw land stuff, we will see more app developers popping up, I'm sure. And we're also going to see a lot more, let me see what I was, so the new drones is the one thing, and then the apps is the other thing. But as these are getting released, can we use them as a tool in our business? Unfortunately, can you list these files in Discord? Corey, I can put all the links to each of the supporteds if you'd like in our Discord channel, so I can happily do that for you guys so you have a quick reference to them. And I can also pop it up into the Patreon channel, so we'll make a list of the different apps, and then I'll point you to their support pages. But yeah, in the end, if you've got that Mavic 3 that you really want right now, but you're a Ground Station Pro user, a Map Pilot user, or a Drone Harmony user, we're not there yet. So when you get that drone, when you get that new shiny drone, you might not be able to do all of your testing. So it might be just, your standard flight modes and getting to know the drone and working with the drone. and then being patient consumer waiting for the newest app updates to come out. I also did drone deploy as well here, and there once again are others. There are other app developers out there, but of course we all know drone deploy very well if we've been in this industry any amount of time. And so, we've got the Phantom 4 Pro, the Mavic 2 Pro, for enterprise, Matrice, and then we also have the Skydio in here. So we seem to be missing a couple listed in here as well. But let me see, supported devices, mobile and tablet. Let's click on that and see. Let's scroll on down here. So iOS devices, what's working with them. And so they got the iPad Pro, the iPad Air. You can go through this whole list too. Okay, Crystal Sky, not supported. Okay. So I just wanted to give you that idea because this is becoming frustrating to me, not as a person producing content on YouTube and sharing this with you. I don't mind doing that at all, and I enjoy helping people find the right fits for what they're doing with their businesses. This is frustrating to me because it's becoming really confusing, especially for new drone operators, folks who are just getting into it. They recently passed their Part 107. Maybe they got one of the minis. Maybe they got one of the Airs, and they're hoping to learn about some of these other applications that might just interest them for their own businesses. And the fact that you've got to go sorting through this huge laundry list of what's supported and what's not. This controller works, that controller doesn't. This mobile device works, that mobile device doesn't. We haven't gotten the SDK for it yet. We're ready to do development. We just need the SDK. I've heard all of this, and I feel your pain when it comes to shopping for these because, I kind of picked on the Mavic 3 the other month when they were launching it because I said this is not going to fit in my business. It's nothing against the Mavic 3. It looks like a really amazing drone. At some point, I'm going to get my hands on one, I'm sure, and I'll look forward to flying it. But the drones that I have in my inventory are for my business purposes. Yes, I do have fun flying drones, but I'm building this business here as you're building your business. That's probably why you're on this channel. And it's got to be frustrating. I'm glad I started into this several years ago. And I found some applications that were working well for me and that they have carried on supporting the drones that I'm using. But if I was interested in some of these other drones, like the Air 2S has sounded interesting to me. Some of the minis have sounded interesting to me. Can they work for what I'm doing? Or is this just my recreational drone? So I wanted to share that with you guys while I was also doing this OBS testing. So hey, thanks for the beta test on that. But I feel exactly what other drone operators feel. I want to use the drone that I want to use, and I want to use the applications that are of interest to me. And in the meantime, we have to hold and we have to have some wait time before we can utilize these flight apps with these particular drones. And in some cases, there just might not be support down the road for certain products. One of the other things that I have been extremely interested in are the Autel products, and I've got a friend running an Autel drone, and I would love to see how those drones work in some of the construction sites that we deal with. I've got a feeling that I could make some high quality flights with those. But I would also like to use some of the applications that I'm very familiar with. And, in the case of my business, we can't be dealing with a learning curve on a new drone while you've got customers waiting in the wings. When you've got some free time, of course. But in the meantime, you need a platform that you can rely on that's going to give you consistent results every single time that you're out there. So there you go. So there's my frustration, and I'm with all of you when it comes to the frustration of all these third-party apps and where they're at in their development, keeping up with the drones we want to use. So there we go. All right, everybody, and just for giggles here, I'm gonna click out here real quick and see if I get that screen swap and if that pops me back up to the full screen view here, and I can actually take a look down really quick at OBS as well. So yeah, that looks like it's working just fine. And so look forward to new updates as we're doing live streams. I'm gonna, like I said, set up the countdown timer for it. And some of my live streams might be really random. I'm gonna try to do more off the cuff stuff, you know, in between different projects that I'm working on, so then I can fill you in faster. I know that we've been light on the live streams lately, and I do want to make up for that as well. So look forward to changing views and maybe some changing background music as well. So what can Litchi do that Drone Deploy and Pix4D Capture can't? Dave, Litchi, one of the big things that I use that for is making waypoint missions. So on these waypoint missions, I can actually fly to a point. So I've got two different ways to do this. I can do it on Litchi's, let's pull it up, on Litchi's Mission Hub, Litchi. There we go. So I know I'm already logged into that. So I can plan flights on Litchi sitting on my couch, you know, with one of the apps. Or I can go to Litchi's Mission Hub, and let's open one of our missions. What do we want to open up here? Let's find something larger in here. All right, Falconer. Good grief, I've got a lot of these. All right, so we'll open this one up. Sorry about that, I was just hunting around. So here's the deal, Dave. I can plop down on the couch with my iPad and I can block out this flight. I can go to the client location, fly the drone, which is what I did in this case. So I actually got the drone up and off the ground. I flew the drone over to this area. I had the drone turned back toward the home and the construction that was going on. And I put in this waypoint, take a picture when you get to this waypoint. And then the drone continues to move over to waypoint 2, which I'm still controlling. I got to where I wanted waypoint 2. I used my custom function key on my controller for my Mavic 2 Pro and said add a waypoint at this location. And so I had the gimbal where I wanted it. I had the you know, the elevation where I wanted it. And so after I set it up, I said take a picture here. So this whole thing, I flew the property. I made the waypoints. I set them up so that the next time I go to the location, I can turn on McRae Stills January, and the drone's going to lift off for me. It's going to fly into the air. It's going to go to waypoint 1. It's going to turn itself exactly where I had it. It's going to take a photo for me. And then a month later, I can do the same thing. So this is where I get some of my time-lapse still photos from. So I had this drone fly all over the property to document this whole new ranch development they were doing. And we were doing it normally about once a month, but then some of the construction came into a slowdown. We're actually going to be reflying this in a couple weeks here. So we're just waiting on the weather and the property owner to say, get back out here. But so I can make these really high-end waypoint missions. Second thing on this is I made a very similar mission to this, making the waypoints, but it was to fly the entire area while recording video. So I've got one for my stills, and that's this one, McRae Stills, and then I've got another one for my video flight. So when I'm at the site, I literally power the drone on, I go to my video waypoint mission for them, I launch the drone, I hit record on it, and I watch the drone do its job collecting that video for me so that we can do time-lapse video. So last month's video versus this month's video. So these are some of these waypoint missions are outside of the scope of the Pix4D Capture and the Drone Deploy. This also has an automatic orbit setup. It has an automatic 360 from the drone setup. And then you also have your first-person view, like standard flight as well. But so Litchi's been my go-to with this. Now, Ground Station Pro, I can do a very similar thing. Drone Harmony, I can do a very similar thing. Ground Station Pro, one of the things I found on my video missions, so this is me being nitpicky now, on my video missions, it was a little jumpy in the turning execution. So that was something that I wasn't thrilled with. And on these, on the Litchi ones, I can tell it's smooth turns. Now, I can also tell it's smooth turns on Ground Station Pro as well, and it just doesn't give me the smooth turns. So, and similar thing, Drone Harmony, you can block out these types of flight missions as well. And at each of the waypoints, you can tell the drone to do certain things. So that's the big stuff right there, Dave. I hope I answered that and didn't go too far off. But the other big thing is with Litchi's Mission Hub here. As you can see, this is stored in the cloud for me. I can go to the website and I can make something completely new on the website. And then when I save it, it's going to be available on my iPhones nearly immediately. So it's very, very fast. And oh, let's make sure here. I'm just checking out one other thing. You know what? Here's where I screwed up. So I do apologize. I thought I had you on the Mission Hub here, Dave. And this is what we get for experimentation. And let's make sure I'm down in the corner now. Okay. So while I was describing all of this to you, we only had the screen with me on it. All right. OBS test fail. So so Dave, if you're still on here and you haven't walked away in disgust at me keeping that main screen up, this is what one of the missions looks like. My apologies. So I'm gonna have to double check myself when I'm making some more of these setups for OBS. Wow, I'm embarrassed with that one. Let me go back to open again. So let's scroll on down here, and we had the McRae flight. So I'm going to open up McRae video as well. And opening up McRae video, see, I did change it around a little bit because of the video angle. So, but all of this recording, what you're seeing here now on screen, now that I've got this right, was me doing manual waypoint setups in the field for unique flight paths. So that's what it can buy us all. So I hope you're still with me, Dave, and that tangent without the screenshot, I hope it didn't go too far off for all of you guys. Hey, we're testing, we're learning, we're doing new things. I'm gonna need to put labels on my keys over here for which view I'm using right now. So, but hey, thanks for being part of the beta, everybody. If you got any other questions, fire them out right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up and call this quasi-successful with a couple of goof ups. So I will give it a moment on the old feed here. And for the patrons, I think we will be doing our weekly Zoom this coming Sunday. I haven't heard back from that client who likes things shot at the end of the month. So be ready for that. I'll be posting something over in the Patreon channel to let you know this week's topic. And we should have fun with this one too. All right, everyone, since we don't have any other pop-ups in here, I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably a wrap for the day. So now this should cut you guys back over to the new bumper screen with the new audio soundtrack. Thanks for being part of this experiment. I hope it went okay, and we'll see you all again real soon.